Hello and welcome. Today, we are bringing you a brand new explainer that does something, well, pretty unexpected. It bridges the gap between literary expression and incredibly practical, everyday finance. It isn't often that we find actionable budgeting strategies literally woven into modern poetry, but that is exactly what we have on our hands today. We're going to look closely at how the written word can actually reshape how we view our wallets, our shopping habits, and our long-term financial planning. I am Eleanor Grant. Welcome to another poetry deep dive today. I love Denis Martindale. He has written over 3,700 poems for the Poemhunter website. His new poem is about the bank holiday sales bargains we can buy on the internet. The poem encourages us to discover discounts and coupons and voucher codes. We could save hundreds or thousands of pounds thanks to so many sales events throughout the year.
Okay, let's dive into this. The poem immediately challenges our traditional ideas about wealth management by drawing a really sharp contrast: passive bank interest versus active voucher savings. As Martindale points out in the text, banks invest our money but usually pay us next to nothing in return. He writes, "For money in your bank account, interest's not a great amount." So instead of just relying on this incredibly slow, often disappointing traditional savings route, the poem suggests we look at how spending our money strategically can actually be a far better way to budget for both now and the future. When he writes, "When I get discounts far and wide, I can't help feeling good inside," he is totally highlighting that emotional and financial rush of taking active control over every single transaction.
And taking that kind of active control requires what we can call a proactive mindset, which is captured just perfectly by this quote. Notice the immediacy in those words, even now. It's basically asking the reader, are you ready, willing, and able to cash in? The author isn't just waiting around for a monthly statement to tell him how his finances look. He's initiating the savings process before purchase is even fully considered. This part of our explainer really challenges you to look at your own habits. Are you logging into websites with the express purpose of hunting down savings before you even begin to shop? To actually achieve this proactive savings mindset, the poem's introductory text lays out a highly literal, totally actionable set of strategies. Honestly, it's almost like a step-by-step financial guide hidden in plain sight. It urges us to sign up for specific email discounts, but it doesn't stop there. We also need to register with dedicated cashback sites, and even look into whether our existing credit cards offer hidden website discounts. Finally, and perhaps most importantly for the true bargain hunter out there, we absolutely must explore further into online forums to find the hidden tricks, tips, and workarounds. These are exact, repeatable steps you can take to hunt for digital codes and maximize your finances. And this brilliantly illustrates the specific, wondrous deal structures that the poem points out, because it's not just about a generic percentage off. As the poem says, every web page changes things, so we really have to stay observant. Martindale advises us to check weights and prices to compare, just to ensure we're actively saving a fiber here and there. We need to be on the lookout for multi-buy deals like 3 for 2 or 4 for 3. In our modern digital times, he specifically calls out the wondrous discounts we can choose by simply using the apps right on our screens. And let's not forget what he calls another plus: free postage. These are the mechanical gears of the sublime art of saving money. Now, most of us are pretty accustomed to seeing those big, flashy TV ads about the New Year's sales, right? We naturally think of January as the time to save. But the poem completely reframes this by introducing what it calls the miser's holy grails, the seasonal bargain sales. The real secret to profound long-term savings isn't just a once-a-year event. It is recognizing that these sales happen throughout the entire calendar year. The opportunities are constant if you just know when to look. Let's move to and see how this builds. Mapping this out, we can see a continuous cascade of opportunities. In month 2, we have St. Valentine's Day. By month 4, boom, we hit Easter and the bank holidays. Moving right along into month 8 and beyond, the cascade continues with back to school, summer, and autumn sales. Month 10 brings Halloween deals, wrapping up in month 12 with Christmas and Boxing Day sales. Looking at it like this, it becomes incredibly clear why the author states there's never been a better time to think about the possibilities. You're literally never more than a few weeks away from a major sales event. So, the crucial point is this. What do all of these steps, deals, and timelines actually add up to? A very tangible, highly aspirational number: £1,000. In the poem, Martindale proudly declares, "I've saved £1,000 this year on prices that were way too dear." Guys, this isn't just theory. This is a massive financial payoff for adopting the mindset of a digital bargain hunter. It completely validates the effort of checking weights, reading forums, and tracking that seasonal timeline. Now, what's really interesting about this passage is the cheekiness of the text. Often, society looks down on being overly frugal, labeling it as being cheap or mean. But this poem turns that entirely on its head. It tells us to deliberately enjoy yourself by being mean. It asks a deeply logical question: why pay top dollar every time when saving cash feels so sublime? By reframing the act of couponing and seeking discounts not as some tedious chore, but as something that feels genuinely sublime, the author elevates budgeting to an actual art form. It becomes a joyful little rebellion against ever-paying full price. Which brings us to our final and definitely most provocative thought from the closing lines of the poem. The author pleads with the reader, so please use coupons when you can. They're better than your savings plan. I want to leave you with that exact question to consider today. Are your passive banking routines and standard interest rates really serving you? Or could an active, continuous pursuit of coupons, seasonal sales, and cashback apps actually yield a far greater return? Take a moment to rethink your habits today, because according to Denis Martindale, the true path to 1,000 extra pounds might just be sitting right there on the coupon apps upon your screen. Thank you so much for joining this explainer today, and happy saving.